Hello everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, back with another project for you, and this time it's a cased card from one that we made at the demonstrator gathering called On Stage, and it's using the beautiful Rooted in Nature stamp set, which is this one here. It's a two-part stamp set, it's a biggie, but it has the most beautiful tree images, and even better, there are coordinating dies, as you can see, to go with them. And some of those actually are embossing ones, which I'm not using this time, but they are, you watch some of my other videos and you'll see them being used. The great thing about this stamp set is, although it is a large one, it's a two-part stamp set, but it's got both sentiments and images in it as well, and they are beautifully shaded. So that's what we're using. It's a pretty card to make with some extra layers on, and everything's prepped. So I'll go through the measurements as we go through in both centimetres and inches, and off we go. So to start off with, you're going to create a card base out of soft suede. So this is 21 centimetres, 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4, which is 14.5 centimetres. So score it at 10.5 and just burnish that as well. And there's your card base, and this is using soft suede. Then I've got a piece of designer series paper, which is the Nature's Poem, which is 4 inches by 5 inches or 10 by 12.5 centimetres. And instead of putting this as a central layer, we're just offsetting this very slightly, but using the edge of the card as a guide. So the way I do that is open up your card first of all, and then just layer that right up against the edge. You'll see it just comes to within 1/4 inch. So that's our card base. Next, you need a piece of Very Vanilla, which is 3 1/2 by 4 inches, and we're going to use our soft suede ink to stamp the tree ring. These are the new stamp cases, so they open like a compact and then slide in. And you might want to use a mat underneath. It depends on how flat your surface is. Mine is a little bit textured, so I'm just going to pop that on a spare piece of foam that I've got. And I'm just going to stamp that sort of pretty centrally on there. Just pop that to one side. It's quite a juicy pad, so it is, the colour is quite dark, but it does lighten up as it dries. Then we're going to stamp our leaves, and I've got a piece of mint macaron and a piece of grapefruit grove. And the inks I'm using are Tranquil Tide. Put that in there. And this is a lovely skeleton leaf, beautiful detail. And then on the previous one, I think I actually might have used Cajun Craze, I can't remember, but I'm going to use the Grapefruit Grove on this one. So quite, again, same effect. So these stamp sets just open up and slide like a compact. Then to put them away, just pull on the lip and close. I'm just going to stamp that like so, the lovely Grapefruit Grove. And oranges aren't normally my colour, but actually it's a colour that works really well with pink, which is not like me at all to put those sort of colours. And then you're going to pop the straightforward leaf framelits around there. Now, depending on whether you've got a magnetic plate or not, you might just want to use a little bit of washi tape. I've got a little bit of sort of highlighter tape that I've got left over from a project at work. And I just pop a little piece of that tape at one side if you haven't got a magnetic plate. And with the dies, you'll see that if you turn it on the inside, one end's a little bit more pointed than the other. And you'll see it'll just line up with the leaf shape there. Put those off to one side. Okay, put those through your big shot. And once you've done that, you will have 2 leaves, like so. So we're going to put those on next. And then going to do our sentiment, and I've got a piece of Whisper White card, which is 1 1/4 by 3 inches, 3 by 7.5 inches, and we're using the gorgeous returning Blackberry Bliss. The only downside of Blackberry Bliss returning is it means I'm going to be wearing it for the next goodness knows how long, because I can't seem to stamp with it without getting myself covered in purple ink. It's just one of those colours. So I'm just going to centralise that and hopefully stamp it reasonably straight. That's where using the grid paper I find really, really useful. If you haven't got Blackberry Bliss, you could use Fresh Fig as well. That would go really wonderfully with it. And then another piece of the Nature's Poem DSP, which is 3.5 by 3/4 of an inch, 2 by 9 centimetres, and just cut up at one end in the middle and cut a little flag. Obviously, if you've got a banner punch, you could use that as well. But again, you don't need to use that. You can do it by hand. So now we've cut all our components out, we're going to layer those up. So what I'm going to do is pop the leaves on flat, so just using my snail here, and pop that leaf to the left hand edge, and do the same with the Grapefruit Grove leaf as well, just overlapping that in the centre. And then I'm going to use some dimensionals for my next layer to sort of give it a bit of dimension. Well, yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Give it a bit of lift. Again, with dimensionals, you don't need to put hundreds on. You know, one at either end and one in the middle is plenty. I'm just going to pop that banner just there, just so you can still see the bottom of the tree trunk. And then to pop this bit on, I'm putting the dimensionals just towards the top, so then it will sit flush on top of the banner, like so, but the dimensionals will sit just above. Okay. Then we have this lovely Nature's Twine to use, so I'm using the Blackberry Bliss here, and I'm just cutting a length, still quite loosely. I'm just going to tie that around, and you can move it once you've tied it. So I'm just tying that in a bow. Now if you struggle with bows, you can always tie the bow in the double ends and then stick it to the back. That's easier for you. I'm just sort of easing that down and then sort of pulling it up. There we go, like so. I'm just going to position that down towards the bottom of the card, and then I'm going to trim that off. And it's lovely thick twine. This comes in 4 colours, including mint macaron. And so because that's now got some dimension on the back, I'm going to pop again some sticky pads. If you want to, you could put a bit of glue to keep that in place. Always pop a dimensional in the middle on the back of your card as well. That'll just help it, if you are going through the post, help protect it. Then take the dimensional backs off. My husband will now curse me because they'll be all over my floor. And then again, just going to centre that in the middle of the card, like so. And there you have a pretty card to showcase the lovely Rooted in Nature stamp set and Nature's Poem DSP. Hope you enjoy making it. Come back and see me make some more projects with Rooted in Nature. There are more to come. So thanks for watching, and come back and see me again soon. Don't forget to visit my Stampin' Up shop, heidismith.stampinup.net, if you want to buy any of the products, or drop me an email at flutterbyheidi@virginmedia.com. Bye now. Come again soon.